We do the job to make a difference, and sometimes when you can't make that difference, it hurts. It was a normal sunny day in London. I remember it being a nice warm day, one of those days where people are just dressed in shorts and t-shirts and just going about their daily business of commuting to work.
It was a normal Thursday morning, and it was very standard. And then I received a call from the British Transport Police, and it was to a tube train crash.
We started to hear priority messages coming in from a number of locations across the capital. And at this point, we realised that something pretty catastrophic had happened.
We were formed up as the first full crew in breathing apparatus that went down to the tunnel to see what had happened, what had gone on. We weren't aware of any other incidents that were happening in London. To us, this was just one incident, and we weren't too sure about the sequence of events or what had happened.
I took the first call to the bombings from the British Transport Police. They believed it to be a train crash on the underground system. I mobilised the first attendants to Liverpool Street Station, and then we started to receive other calls to the bombings.
Part of that process was us looking at what we call the catastrophic incident plans, and these are plans which outline, what resources we have and specific locations of these resources and decisions that we may need to take in terms of moving and allocating resources across the capital to support our crews in order to ensure that they have the support for them to go and provide the rescue capability, especially within the London Underground network, which was extremely complex.
We needed to get into the affected train in order to be able to assess the number of casualties, assess what first aid equipment was needed, and assess how we were going to remove the casualties. And I remember a senior officer coming down and saying, "This is happening all across London, and if you want, we're not sure if there's secondary devices, and if you want, you can get off the train." But anybody that knows anyone in the emergency services also knows that you won't walk in the opposite direction.
The control room went quite quiet for a long time, and it wasn't until really going home and the streets were so empty. When I got home and watched the TV and the news, that's probably when it hit me what we was dealing with, because from the control room you don't see those scenes, but seeing them on the TV and what we'd had to deal with, that was quite traumatised really, to see what the firefighters had to face out there.
I had only been working in Special Operations Group for a few months when 7/7 happened, and it was certainly an experience that I didn't think I would ever experience or be involved in.
The first aid that we gave was to multiple different people on that carriage, and unfortunately the first aid that we were able to provide didn't save everybody. And I think as an emergency service worker, that's incredibly challenging for us, because we do the job to make a difference, and sometimes when you can't make that difference, it hurts. However, what I'm really pleased about is the hard work and dedication of our crews throughout London on that day, and the way in which we pulled together, and the way in which the spirit of London pulled together on that day. We made a difference to the people that were caught up on the worst day of their lives, and I'm pleased to say that we made a significant difference to all of those people upon that carriage